Today's weather update video, we're going to be talking about the severe weather threat happening across the plains over the next 24 hours. We're also going to be talking about the Southwest potentially seeing, inches of rain possible, as we could be having a possible flash flooding threat. And also going to be telling you about the new threat going across the Atlantic and the Pacific about the tropics. Now, for today, we do have ourselves a slight risk of severe weather. It's been a bit, but we do finally have one. Over here in kind of east central Kansas, and west central Missouri, could be seeing that slight risk. This will include Wichita, Topeka, Kansas areas. Will be under that slight risk. This is going to be the hail risk, which we do have a 15% chance of around Wichita, Topeka, and Kansas City. We also do have a hatch risk that will still affect those cities as well. However, really anywhere east of the Kansas border, along with Missouri, maybe not with that significant hatch risk for hail. And the wind risk is only 15% chance with no hatch risk across our slight risk area. And then we do have a 2% tornado risk, mainly for areas between Topeka and Wichita. Could experience that 2%. This time it won't no longer be under a Kansas City threat. I don't expect them to expand over here, but, there could be some cases where they might do, but I would expect mainly for towns and cities near Wichita and Topeka to be under that 2% tornado risk. See throughout tonight is that by the time we get around let's say evening time, maybe like 6, 7, 8 p.m., we will have some of those isolated storms kind of move through Illinois, Missouri, and Kansas. Obviously our significant threat is going to be around Kansas and Missouri, so we do need to be weather aware of that. As it kind of moves through probably around midnight, that's when we'll see some of that more isolated storminess happening to the eastern portion of Kansas, Missouri, and Illinois. However, interestingly, none of this shows any potential threat happening across central Kansas. And I am looking over the HRRR models that are recently updated. So this has been updated, within the past minutes or so, and StillFact is updating currently right now. So if this was right, then we might not be having to worry about in central Kansas at all about the severe weather threat. Now, obviously, still things could change, but this is pretty accurate for the most part as of right now. For tomorrow, we do have a marcher risk for a completely very unusual area. Over here towards kind of like the Appalachians, Mid-Atlantic, Northeast, we do have a very big marcher risk that will go all the way from anywhere from Alabama, Georgia, all the way up to Ontario and Quebec, Canada. And the biggest thing we can see with this is going to be the wind risk. We do have a 5% chance with this, and this could be impacting, up to 25 million people possible, extending out to a very large portion of an area across the U.S. Day 3, we're not going to have really any major severe weather happening. It's just a very large general risk across the United States. However, if there have been, some changes going on, which I think there will be some changes, we could see a marginal risk along really any of this. I would say particularly anywhere from the plains all the way over here. We could be seeing a potential marginal risk. I don't think there is going to be one for day 3, but, things are always going to change. From what I circled is probably not going to be right. It's just a little, prediction, a guesstimate, whatever you call it. For our excessive rainfall risk, we do have a very small slight chance, specifically around southern Arizona, around the Tucson area. Could be seeing some of that. We do have a very large 5% chance across the Southwest here. However, if you do notice, our severe weather is happening across here. You notice how we don't have a risk? That's going to be because really a lot of these storms throughout the area are going to be very fast-moving storms that aren't going to dump a lot of rain going on in the plains. Even for day 2, we do have a slight risk for southern Arizona, but over where our marginal risk is, we have no risk at all for not even a 5% chance risk at all. That's again because over here towards the Appalachians, these are going to be fast lines of showers kind of moving through the area. very quickly, minimally dropping, an inch or less, so not causing, biggest amounts of rainfall. But especially something like monsoon rainfall is something potentially that we could be seeing across the southwest, however. Day 3, there is not a slight risk. However, we do have a large 5% chance across the southwest and Pacific coast. So I do see that chance of it being like a slight risk potentially here. Maybe they might just not be just so sure yet. For over the next close to 24 hours, we could be seeing not a lot of rain across the United States. Obviously, this is going to be over the next 24 hours because the HRRR hasn't fully updated yet. But we could see that our biggest areas right now is across the Great Lakes, where we've been having kind of like a trough move through. And, some areas have been experiencing a swath of half an inch to an inch, kind of moving through the area. Kind of like some garden rain kind of moving through the area, kind of as of right now. In the southwest, that monsoon rain, we do see a lot of it happening in Mexico, but not really in the U.S. And then, the rest of the U.S. Isn't going to be seeing much rain really at all. Now, if we want a better idea over the next 3 days, let's just say that monsoon rain will be getting over to southern New Mexico and Arizona, where some areas could obviously be up to 5 inches possible. Over here in the Ohio River Valley, some areas could be up to 3 inches possible. And we can still see that trough is moving through, kind of like Ottawa and Quebec, Canada. That's going to be moving through, and that's where we're going to be seeing our severe weather across the East Coast here. We can also see in Kansas, too, there's barely any rain happening from those severe storms. So these are going to be quick-moving storms. They're going to kind of be moving through real quickly, which is why, a lot of us in the United States will only experience, 1 to 2 inches. Really, other areas I'll be concerned about for now is, like, the Southwest and specific areas and a little bit of the Ohio River Valley. Now, talking for climate for a bit, real quickly here, is that we do have kind of 2 different areas. The U.S. is literally going to be split down in half, warm and cold. So most of us over here in the East Coast have experiencing cooler average temperatures for quite a bit now. Even over here in the Pacific Coast, where we've been seeing that cool air kind of hovering over California and Nevada. That'll be there kind of for the next 6 to 10 days. However, places like the Pacific Northwest, plains, little bit of the southern plains, could be, a bit above average for temperatures. So the half of the country is either going to be above average or below average. And even a little bit of the country too, like kind of like around the Ozarks, Midwest and Great Lakes, could be about near normal average. And within the next 8 to 14 days, the Climate Prediction Center might suggest is that we might still have, above than average temperatures happening through the central part of the U.S. In fact, even maybe considering, our little East Coast cool air to kind of weaken out. Same thing over here with the Southwest, over here in California and Nevada, where it might be suggesting that the heat starts overtaking the cool air. And so that's how a lot of us in the United States throughout the next 8 to 14 days could be above average for temperatures. And then within the next 3 to 4 weeks, most of us in the United States are going to be near normal average temperatures, except for maybe like places like the Northeast, Northern Plains, a little bit of the Great Plains, and the Rocky Mountains could be above average for temperatures. About precipitation, again, half of us in the country are going to be experiencing 2 different things. Either you're going to be over here in kind of like the northwestern part of the country, Great Lakes, Rocky Mountains, Pacific Northwest, Pacific Coast, even the southeast, might be experiencing above than average rainfall. If you are kind of around the northeast, Great Lakes, Midwest, Ohio River Valley, maybe a little bit of the southeast and southern plains, we could be a little bit below average to very below average, especially around the Great Lakes, of the precipitation. In the next 8 to 14 days, the Climate Prediction Center is suggesting that it's still going to be the same thing happening throughout the same. You can see that it is a lot less chance, but obviously they are, for sure that actually is going to be the case. And within the next 3 to 4 weeks, the Climate Prediction Center might be suggesting that there might be only a little bit of above average precipitation in the northwest, and a little bit over here in the southeast, while the rest of us are going to be near normal average. The drought is that a lot of us in the country are maybe a little bit dry or not really dry. Around the Ozarks, we've been having some drought, especially built up. The plains near Nebraska have still been having those problems. Even the Northeast too is starting to build up lots of drought as around the Great Lakes. We've had that below than average precipitation, which has been causing quite a bit of the droughts. And then over here on the West Coast, still having a lot of drought, especially being fueled by those wildfires. Still could be seeing that drought for at least a while across the West Coast here. All right, now we need to go ahead and talk about the tropics. So over here, we have our new disturbance developing just west of Africa. And as you can see, it is going to move straight towards the continental U.S. And if we do show on the satellite, as I am right now, we can already see we have this. Unfortunately, there are no spaghetti models yet for this storm. But however, hopefully, when I make the next couple of videos, we do. And we do need to be weather aware. It's still going to be taking about, closer to a week to 2 weeks for this thing to really come close. But within the next week, for sure, this thing could potentially become a tropical storm, if not a hurricane. Quite interesting. We do have ourselves a Category 2 hurricane. Kiko is, I believe, how you say it. The spaghetti models, we can see a lot of them do point towards Hawaii or near Hawaii being hit by this, which is not good, because Hawaii doesn't need to go through that stuff, obviously. But potentially this could be moving towards Hawaii. Now, hopefully from what I'm seeing from this, the hurricane hopefully could weaken down to a Cat 1, if not a tropical storm. But obviously that's still around the weeks away for that to really happen to know. But if you guys are in Hawaii, you are going to need to be prepared to see this. We probably for certainly there are going to be coastal flood warnings, high surf advisories, if not like beach hazardous statements or rip current statements possible. So beware of the oceans as this thing will potentially move towards Hawaii. And then even over here towards off the coast of Baja California, we could even see ourselves having a little tropical storm kind of move through. And this is where we could be seeing some rain across the southeast for a bit. So, yeah, we just do need to be aware. This isn't going to be a concern for really the most part unless you're in Baja California. Besides from that, it's only going to really be a flooding threat potentially for northern Mexico in the southwest United States. And that's about it for the tropics. Alright, anyways, if you guys like to see a new weather video, make sure you guys like and subscribe for new following videos, especially throughout the stuff happening across the United States. Consider sharing this with friends or family, and I'm hoping to, grow into a bigger and better YouTube channel in the future. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.